Hello everyone, Ember Power here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'm going to be taking a look at a cross-generational evolution event which took place on Limitless way back in August. So I am a little bit late to covering this event, but I just thought it was super interesting and I wanted to go back and take a look at the results and basically see what did well. So basically, the rules for this format are fairly simple. There are no rule box Pokemon allowed, and basically, you have to build your deck exclusively using evolution Pokemon that are from different generations. So, for example, you couldn't just play like Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. You would have to play, like Rufflet, Hisuian Bravery, for example. Like the Pokemon have to come from different generations. They can't just come from the same generation. So, pretty simple. There's also like this additional rule about the number of basic Pokemon cannot exceed the number of evolution Pokemon. So like you have to play either like a 3-3 line or a 4-4 line, but not like a 4-3 line, for example. Although I think that is bypassed and ignored several times in this event, as far as I can tell. But either way, it doesn't matter. It's not like the biggest deal in the world, to be honest. The other major like key rule is that all basic Pokemon in your deck must evolve. So there's no like standalone basics. So there's like no Manaphy, there's no Mew, for example, which is pretty big. So yeah, something worth bearing in mind just going into this event. And then we just see some examples down here as to what you could play. As for trainers and energy, it's also worth mentioning that all trainer cards are allowed in the event. All basic energy are allowed, and special energy was not allowed. And there's I guess, a brief summary of the tournament rules. But in first place list, we'll just take a look at was a Ursaluna deck with Gallade. So basically, Ursaluna is just a really powerful stage 2, but it came around in, I believe it was, it was a Sword and Shield era because Legends Arceus came out fairly recently. But it was basically an Hisuian Pokemon, but it obviously wasn't from the same generation as Ursaring, so this would have been a viable option. This player is also choosing to pair it up with the likes of Gallade because Ralts and Curlier are from the same generation, but Gallade is not. So you can, just play Gallade, which is a really solid option. This list isn't actually playing any Psychic Energy, so you can't attack with Gallade, which is a bit of a shame. But this deck is mostly like a almost control stall deck-ish deck, so it's a bit of a strange mix-up, just because Ursaluna can retrieve cards with its first attack, Pete Hunt. But, just something worth bearing in mind. Then also playing Eevee and Glaceon, because I keep forgetting Glaceon wasn't actually from Gen 1 at all, it just came much later on. But this Glaceon has a really annoying attack, Frost Wall, that basically walls out damage from other evolution Pokemon. And within this format, there's like only basics that go on to evolve. So there's no like super powerful basics. So that's something worth bearing in mind. And that's kind of like why this Glaceon was a really strong choice for this event. So this is the list that ended up winning the whole thing. And then if we move along to second place, which is basically like almost the exact same list, give or take a few creative liberties. So I definitely think these players like collaborated to some degree, or like maybe they just had the same idea because it's a very good idea. But still going for the Ursaluna Gallade Glaceon combo, which seems to be like the best combo to go for this event. This player is choosing to play an Umbreon as well, actually, which is nice to see, a little bit of variety. But yeah, pretty similar list overall and nothing too unique to talk about. But then we see the third place list, which is very different. So Mischievous and Mismagius come from different generations. This is something I did not know for the longest time. I just assumed they were from the same generation, but apparently not. Then this list is also playing the Gallade again, but then we do see the Hisuian Bravery. Not the Hisuian Bravery that was actually shown in the event details, but the Hisuian Bravery that basically places damage counters on Pokemon that have already been damaged. So after you've like spread a load of damage with Mismagius, you can then, sweep in with Hisuian Bravery and do a bunch of spread KOs. But yeah, pretty cool list to see. You can rely on Cheryl because all your Pokemon are attacking for 1 energy or less. You can even attack with Gallade if you really wanted to. You can also make advantage of stuff like Fall Crystal because you're mostly playing Psychic Pokemon. Just a really cool list in all honesty, and I'm happy to see spread decks performing pretty well. But then we see the fourth player list playing something very different to other decks in this event. That is going to be the Hisuian Samurott. So, of course, came around with Legends Arceus. So, not when the first Samurott came around. So, very different Pokemon overall. But choosing to pair it up with the Galarian Weezing. So, unfortunately, I think as it stands, expanded, like you can't matchmake with expanded in Pokemon TCG Live. so you can't have access to the expanded card pool, which, it's a massive shame because there is some really cool glaring Pokemon in expanded. But we do have this glaring Weezing actually that came around, I think in like Astral Radiance or something, so it's like more of a recent card. But basically, this ability has the like duplication energy factory, which basically just doubles energy that's attached to all your Pokemon. So 2 dark energy becomes 4 dark energy, for example. And that's really good because it combos well with Hisuian Samurott, which also acts as a bit of a drawing gem. So overall, pretty cool list in 4th place. And then 5th place is going to be a bit of a strange one, in my opinion. This is like a Magnemite Magnezone list. Not playing any Magneton, I think that's just a creative choice. But it's kind of just trying to go for like turn 2 Arven to try and find like the rare candies and spongy gloves or crushing gloves, and then just go for like crystal caves to deal a bunch of damage. I'm not too sure on this list. It seems a bit flippant, maybe a bit inconsistent here and there. Also, 3 copies of Cancer Cologne seems just a tad excessive. I'm not sure why like people really feared abilities in this tournament, but they did for a reason, so I'll have to check out that, I guess. But yeah, pretty cool list overall. A bit wacky for my liking, but that's going to be the 5th place list. Then in 6th place was another Ursalona variant, so we don't like need to spend too long on this one. It is playing some interesting tool cards. This player also had access to a Champions Festival, so they've definitely got the collection right there. Also playing a Gallade, 3 copies of Gallade, actually a lot more than most other lists. Also playing 1 Curler with Mirage Steps, which is cool to see. But overall, nothing too crazy from this list. Then in 7th place, please go away, annoying Limitless. We have a Hisuian Samurott Crobat list. So this one is playing stuff like Gita, which you don't always see. So it's like, I guess in this tournament, like most Pokemon don't have very strong draw. Like Hisuian Samurott and Curlier are like the best draw cards really I can think of. There might be some other Pokemon that are cross-generational that have interesting abilities, but in all honesty, I don't think there was too many. You could play the Crobat with the critical strike attack, which I think was in one of the lists. But basically, this Crobat's also like not terrible either. Just says you get to draw 3 cards when you evolve it from Golbat, which is draw 2 cards. So not the worst thing in the world. And Zubat also has free retreat. So a pretty interesting list overall. Again, playing stuff like Crushing Hammers because there's like limited ways of accelerating energy in this event. So something worth bearing in mind. And then we see this was 8th place. So this was another Glaceon build, but this time making use of Kingdras. So honestly, until 151, I really thought Kingdra was from Gen 1 as well. Like, I knew Horsey and Seadra were, but for some reason I didn't know that Kingdra wasn't Gen 1 either. But, learn something every day, I guess. We do have this Kingdra with Seething Currents, which can basically force either player to shuffle draw 4. So it's actually a nice draw ability for some reason. It's pretty good for stage 2. And then we also have this other Kingdra with the amazing ability Deep Sea King and the attack Aqua Blast. So you can just conserve energy and power up for a massive 1 KO. Very strong, to be honest. I definitely think these Kingdras are really good, and I'm surprised they didn't actually perform better in this event. There's also some really good Kingdras in Expanded, so I'd be very interested to see what kind of a tournament this would have been, like how different, with access to the expanded card pool. But something worth bearing in mind. But that's going to be the top 8 for this tournament. I'm not sure if I'm going to go and cover any other lists because the problem with navigating with this event was that a lot of the decks are obviously just like they're not proper decks in standings. So they just show up like I don't know what's going on there, but like we go over to standings, you'll see what I mean. It's basically every deck is listed as other, so it was quite difficult to try and track down anything else that was super unique. But we could just have a look at 9th and 10th place here and just see if there's anything interesting. Also, I think Smoothie Shake had an interesting list, but see what Leonardo Martins was playing. Okay, so we've got like Ambipom from Pokemon Go with Magnezone? Yeah, Magnezone. So I didn't know that Ambipom was not the same generation as Apiom. I didn't know that. It's interesting to see, but yeah, I honestly thought that Ambipom was from the same generation as Apom. Maybe it wasn't. But yeah, interesting list. Ambipom, of course, with Primate Dexterity could be very strong. Then in 10th place was it's the wrong one. 10th place was, can it load? Miss Magius with Crobat again. And Hisuian Bravery. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, you can kind of start to see like what Pokemon are like a bit better than others. I think Smoothie Shake was playing something a bit different though. Let's have a looky. There was some more interesting decks. Yeah, so okay, so this one was like a Togekiss build. Sorry. So we got like different EVs. Got yeah, Ambipom must have been from a different generation. I didn't know that. Actually, I did not know that. So there we go. Ambipom. We also got the Togekiss again because Togekiss came later than Togetic, which is cool to see. So that's like a nice little draw engine. And then we do have like this massive EV box with all these different Pokemon. It's pretty cool to see. Trainer is nothing new. A lot of different basic energies, but yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, honestly, it's a pretty cool event. I'm aware that Limitless, like, I don't want to advertise these events because I know that this video might go up a lot later than I initially planned. But yeah, I'm aware that Limitless is basically organizing multiple of these like strange single prize events. So I'll be doing some more tournament coverage. But yeah, this has been Emma Power. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this tournament down below. And yeah, thank you for watching.